I'd like to thank everybody for coming. We got a good turnout. There's probably a reason why, but I'm not going to say it. And I'd like to welcome John and Mary Boris to our chamber, and they are the owner and operators of Water to Wine. I'd like to thank them. John, this is where you give that little spiel.
Okay. As Steve said, I'm John Boris, my wife Mary. We live in San Antonio, but I have been introduced to wines back in 1977 when I went to California, in San Diego. I originated from Cleveland, and it was a nice change. I still love my city, don't get me wrong, but I started tasting wines there, and to be honest with you, I was 25 years old, and I lived around some wineries there, and I go, free tastings, what a buzz, you know, so, you know, but I got to appreciate wines there, and I got to talk to the people that were making the wines, so I got partial to California wines, and I started drinking wine, as, you know, everybody starts out with what they're familiar with when they're drinking, like, especially wine. They want, you know, something sweet. If you taste something that's off sweet, you're going, what is this? You know, it doesn't have any taste or anything, but you acquire that taste. So over the years, I became familiar with wines, and I started expanding to other countries and giving them a chance, not a break, a chance. But I started making wines, and my wife Mary's helped me do that, and I was doing it at home. And then John McFadden, who originated this Water to Wine, this is a franchise, said that, why don't you open a franchise? Well, I was working at the time. I was a special agent with the newly formed ICE. I was on the immigration side, but now I ended my career in customs, and Mary just retired in January of this year with immigration. So I said, and she's probably going to kick me for this, I said, let's buy a winery. You know, I'd love to make wine. And John was, you know, be honest with you, John McFadden was kind of saying, hey, why don't you open a Water to Wine, you know? And I says, okay, I'd love to do it. Well, I didn't know how much work was involved in having your own business. But we both like Bernie, so that's why we're out here instead of San Antonio. It seems so much more laid back. The people are friendlier. We enjoy the atmosphere. It was a rough summer, I'll have to admit. We just bought this in June. The economy took a nosedive. The heat killed us because we have the wine tasting bar called the Wine Barrel downtown here. I mean, there was nobody here. You know, there was hardly any people walking around. But now it's starting to pick up. You know, our claim to fame is, you know, we make wines that you could equate to a wine barrel tasting, an actual barrel tasting at a winery, because we don't sulfite our wines like the commercial wines do. So when you're tasting our wines, you are tasting the real McCoy. You're not waiting for 5 years for it to lay in a bottle and for the sulfites and histamines to settle and dissipate into the wine. Ours is drinkable almost right away. A perfect wine would probably be about a year with us. We have earth magnets that you can put them on, and I could get real technical, but what happens is these molecules, they're positive and negative, attract one another eventually over time. That's why the tannins in a wine that's been in a wine bottle 5 years, it starts settling down. Well, these earth magnets accelerate that process. So you can equate the time of 30 minutes to about 18 months to 2 years to age your wine. And you don't have to limit it to that. You can buy a cheap bottle of Scotch or bourbon, put it on there, and get the same result. So, yeah. We've met a lot of nice people and a lot of great people here, and we enjoy it.
Hey, John, could you tell us the hours that in the days that this place is open and the Barrel place on Main Street? The Barrel place is right next to that Chevron. You know where the Chevron gas station is?
On South Main. That's my phone. My daughter downloaded that song for me. I forgot what the question.
The hours of operation.
Oh, the hours of operation here are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7:30, and on Saturday, 11 to 6. Down at the Wine Barrel, now we're going to do kind of an experiment. Right now it's open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're thinking about opening Sundays, especially around the holidays. And that's from like 11 to 8. We're trying to be the the one game in town there when people are done eating dinner. There's what do you do? Where there's a place to go. So we're trying to see if we can get that crowd. It's getting nicer out. We've got tables out in front. We got tables in back. We got a great patio in back.
So can you drink a glass of wine by the glass there? You can just sit down and get a
Yes,
glass?
yes. You sit down and have a glass, and if you want to go walk around, we have the plastic cups. Take it to go.
Really?
Yes,
Nice. So for the Dickens on Main?
Right,
yes. And we have appetizers there.
right, and we're
We do
also trying to
have
get some
Yes.
music,
Yes.
maybe once a week or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Does anybody have any questions? I know that on the reds, Sean's husband has a hard time with red wines, but he can drink the reds from watered
Yeah,
wines.
my
It's a
my
salt.
son-in-law is a perfect example. He says, I get migraines when I drink red wine. I said, his name's Matt. I said, Matt, I will give you $100 if you get a headache from our wine.
Wow.
I says, just try it. He goes, is a migraine worth $100? He goes, I'll try it. He did, and he didn't get a headache, so, yeah.
Any other questions from anybody?
And you can come in here and taste any wine you want.
Yes,
Before you buy it, you can just say, I want to try this and that, and you can taste them, right?
yes. Normally, our limits, you get 5 tastes free and then $1 thereafter, but if you're gonna buy wines,
Just wait.
you could taste as many as you want.
That's very cool.
I just picked up, my wife had she had been to South Africa, and so we came over here, and we were over here buying some wine for a catering that we were going to do, and she saw that South African wine, tasted and liked it, and she just picked up 4 more bottles today. And
Yeah, we were semi-invited to go to Serengeti and sell our wines. TABC just passed a new law that before we could not, because we're a winery, we cannot sell our wine off premise. So what we'd have to do is say, Serengeti, will you buy our wines? We'll go over there and sell them for you, and whatever we don't sell, we'll buy back. What a convoluted mess that was. But now for $580 for 2 years, you can now take it and sell it off the premise. So that's kind of a nice thing for us, especially events that are going on down here all the time.
Are you going to go to Serengeti and sell your wine?
Yes, well, I'm going to try because I have to meet with Shay.
Shay.
Yeah, and coordinate that. And then I hope they carry our wines,
Right.
because we have South African Pinotage, it'll knock your socks off, it's really good. And then we have the Chenin Blanc, and we're right now in the process of getting the South African Shiraz.
Question on labeling. Can someone do some labeling as gifts?
Absolutely. There's our labeler, right there.
we did our 25th anniversary wine when we celebrated our 25 years in business, and I gave one to each one of my investors, and then we served it at the restaurant for that whole year.
Now, you can be as creative as you want. You would just send me a JPEG, or you come in here, you can have your little thumb drive, we can work with that. I mean, I'm open to anything.
Good deal for Christmas, guys. Cheap,
Yes.
not cheap.
Oh yeah, by the
inexpensive
way,
gifts.
if you're thinking about gifts, here's a cheap $15 gift you can get for a bunch of people, and everybody appreciates wine. You buy a batch of wine, of course the initial cost, depending on what wine, but I'm looking at the upper end wines that cost $22.95 a bottle. If you want to throw a label on that, and if it's just a generic label that we have, that's $10 more, and you're talking about 25 bucks a bottle, as opposed to buying a batch for, let's say, $429. It equates to about, and you get 28 to 30 bottles, it comes out to about 15 and change for each bottle. Plus, you get the labels that we
Plus the
make,
labels.
up to 2 to 3 labels, different ones.
Right.
So, and right now we have a special going on. Normally it'd be $429 plus $40 for the bottles, labels, and foils, but we have that sale going on right now, and that's for all the batches, because we have batches at $209, $299, $369, $429.
we're just waiving the $40.
Yeah,
So in other
that's-
words, you're just paying for your batch.
For the batch, and there's no tax on it, which is nice, that, you know, you get around that.